Husband cheated on me for 10 years. Husband cheated on me for over 10 years. I've been married for over 27 years. Last year, I caught him and he confessed he'd been cheating on me for over 10 years with random women. He says he wants to change, but while doing therapy he only talks about being a better husband. How do I know he won't do it again? He won't open up to me about his feelings or emotions or being vulnerable with me. If we aren't having constant sex, then he completely ignores me. Puts no effort into talking to me or working on things. Help. To be totally honest, I doubt you'll ever know that he won't do it again. I personally wouldn't trust him again and would be on my way. Easier said than done, obviously. Leave. He's given up on the relationship. 10 years of cheating is a lot. He did it for 10 years. I don't think there's anything that someone could do to try change that would make me forgive 10 whole years of cheating. He'd still be doing it if he hadn't been caught. I know. That is what scares me the most, and this pandemic hasn't given him opportunities to do it again. I'm so conflicted. Didn't want this. I worked my butt off to create a good home. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I've said this to myself over and over. It's easier to give this advice than take it, as I'm learning. How did he manage to cheat for 10 years and not be completely eaten up by guilt every time he saw you? That just shows the type of person he truly is, which is heartless. I think this wanting to be a better husband thing is just a facade to try to keep you, but he's clearly never given a single fuck about your feelings or the dangers he could have exposed you to from his cheating, and it doesn't sound like anything has changed. I'm so sorry you're going through this. I know it can't be easy. Hope you find the solace you need to heal from this asshole. Thank you. I think I need to hear all this. I'm a fixer. I fix everything or smooth everything over. I am seeing a therapist that helped me realize it's working for him not putting in the work and me enabling him to be complacent. Just always thought that hard work would give me a good forever family. He broke his end of the deal. Knocked up a drug dealer. So after 6 months of knowing each other, I, 31, I got my 41 fling pregnant. We were both not serious considering our age difference, and she was aware of my plans to move out of state. I told her I wasn't ready to be a father, but I would support her decision either way. Long story short, she had my son, whom I absolutely adore. However, I feel completely abused and used. We tried couples counseling during the pregnancy because of a few episodes and arguments, but that quickly came to an end because she felt that our counselor was favoring me because she was told to let me speak for myself and that she should not steamroll me in conversation. So communication, as you can tell, is tough. We are 7 months into it now, and I don't know how much longer I can take the abuse she puts me through. She has bitten me to the point of drawing blood, slapped me in the face while I was holding my child, spit in my face, and can't even count the verbal abuse. Her behavior has become totally unacceptable after the pregnancy, and I'm thinking about turning her into the police. She is a drug dealer, which I told her that if we stick this out that her side hustle must end. But of course it never did. She has brought my son to pick up cocaine, molly, shrooms, you name, she'll get it. How do I get myself out of this mess? I am in so much pain, I don't know what to do or what's best for my son. Get proof, file for custody, take your kid and run. You have a responsibility to get your child out of that abusive household. Call the police. Speak to a lawyer tomorrow. You can and will lose your child to family services when someone else eventually calls. Do not be party to the abuse by keeping that child in the home. Report the mother. Your child needs you. That is your mission in life now, to protect this child and give them half a chance at having a future without abuse and drugs and despair. Report her for the drugs and abuse. The latter might not result in anything, but the former definitely will. Contact a lawyer and try to get full custody of your child. If you're legally permitted, move someone she can't find you and limit/cut off contact. Frankly, is it detrimental for my son to be around a physically and verbally abusive woman who takes him on drug runs? Shouldn't even be a question. Right now, you're not fulfilling your base obligations to your child. Dude, if a woman had posted this, this sub would be going out of their minds to tell you to go to the police ASAP. This is no different. Go to the police tonight, like now. If it's safe, grab your son, go to the police. Be prepared for him to go into protective custody as a precaution, but this will work out in your favor. Yes, please go to the police. Make sure you have everything lined up, and if you have relatives out of state, contact them and take your son. Don't look back. My brother's 36M college was fully paid for, but I had to work full-time to pay for my 33M college. Just learned my father squandered my college fund with bad financial decisions. So as the title states, I worked full-time all throughout college. It wasn't that big of a deal. I had no illusions regarding our family's status in the US as middle class, and worked as a host and server at a restaurant 35 hours a week. As a result, I was able to pay for my own expenses as an adult, although lived at home and commuted to school for 4 years. I paid for my own tuition basically. My mother has been having problems with my father lately regarding his anger problems and behavior. This has actually been an issue his entire life, so I've been talking to my uncle, mother's brother, quite a bit. It's difficult to speak with my mother because she's full on bought into the sunk cost fallacy regarding her relationship with my father, won't admit his behavior is abusive, and won't even consider leaving him. She eats his sh/t and asks for more. It's really depressing, and has affected my relationship with my other mother. I can't stand to watch her endure this abuse. Recently my mother called me regarding a checking account they had that was drained to the total of $140,000 by some hackers, gaining access to account information and making 30 small EFT payments over 30 seconds, transferring their money to somewhere in Malaysia. My father of course blamed my mother and has been yelling at her. My wife went over to their house to install antivirus software, and found a treasure trove of porn web pages in the history, likely frequented by my father, which is the typical culprit for this kind of stuff. Boomers click the ad links to on these pages, and the history reflected he's been on mature singles pages, with a login. Yeah, possible full-on conversations with random women, who may or not have been real even. He's such an idiot. In a conversation with my uncle, he let slip that this isn't the first time that my father has made poor decisions which have affected the family's financial mobility. I asked him what he meant, and he elaborated about my parents having a college fund for me. He said that due to my father's poor financial decisions over 10 years ago, my college fund was drained and squandered in the market. Basically, my dad lost everything. No idea how. I didn't ask him to elaborate. I don't have the closest relationship with my father, but I'm actually proud of myself that I worked full-time during college and was able to pay tuition with minimal loans. That kind of work ethic and business made me the person I am today. I've always been scrappy, side hustling, and able to take care of me and my own. My parents were generous and offered to pay for my books during school, which now makes a lot of sense that they were not able to pay for tuition. My full college costs with books was somewhere around $80,000, and I left college with about $5,000 in student loans. This was shortly paid off after college, so I didn't have any debt related to college when I learned that my father, through poor financial investments, squandered my college fund. I really don't know what to think of this. Sure, it could be traumatic, but this isn't a trauma I've ever lived. I was able to pay my way through college, and paid for it myself. It sucks knowing that I had a college fund that was squandered by my father's poor financial decisions, but I didn't know about that until now. So it feels like a no harm no foul type situation. But clearly my father is a hard-headed individual who thinks he knows best, and doesn't. My relationship with my father isn't the best. I realized from my first major relationship that I had the same problems with anger, frustration, and communication that he did. I endeavored to fix this, because in my mind, when someone like you father is abusive towards you, likely my father's father was abusive and cold as well, there's only two paths you can go down: realization that the way you've been treated has affected you, and endeavoring to fix that and not be that person, or embracing that trauma, and becoming the thing you hate, perpetuating the abuse. I chose the former, and went to anger management and therapy, and no longer am a ball of anger with a short fuse just waiting to go off. I have always been an empathetic person, but now I have coping skills, patience, and are able to process frustrating situations without reacting to negative stimuli in a way that causes me to be someone that I don't want to. My father is very much the same person that his father way. Cold, only caring about money. It's somewhat of a strange obsession with him, and angry. At a certain point, I realized that he was slightly financially obsessed, and would be checking my bank account every day. He had access because my mother's name was on my account. I withdrew all my funds and opened a bank account with a different bank, only in my name, and had a conversation with them about how I was a grown man now, and that this was a hard boundary I was setting because I was uncomfortable with them knowing my purchases and keeping tabs on my disposable income. When I lost my job in recent years, he would call me and only ask me if I had gotten a job, how's my bank account, etc. My father never asks me how I'm doing, anything about my hobbies or interests. It's really sad. My mother assures me he loves me in his own way, but I've asked her, how would I know that if he doesn't actually ask me anything about my life or how I am doing? All he asks are questions related to finances which he seems to believe validate me as a person. And I am not a materialistic person who cares about how big my paycheck is. He'd know this if he actually took to the time to get to know me. This revelation that he's squandered my college fund feels like the last straw for my relationship with him. Before this, I'd rate our relationship a 3/10, but now it really feels like a 1/10. Should I talk to my father about this? Is this something that's even worth saving? I feel like blood is thicker than water, but I often hear that it really isn't, and that your family doesn't mean as much as people say it does. What do you guys think? Do I swallow the pill my college fund was squandered? I worked my butt off to put myself through college, and that made me the person I am today. Or do I broach this? My current thoughts are that I can't awaken a trauma that I never experienced. I paid for college, that's sorta that. But I'm kind of numb about this revelation. I don't know why it bothers me so much. It just does. Before you can get help, you must determine what it is you actually want help with. You resent your father for being a jerk. You wish he made better choices. And you obviously wish that your relationship with him was different. You can't change the past. So what do you want your future to look like, and what are you willing to sacrifice, or not, to make it happen? That's really up to him. My mom has been pushing him for therapy for years and no dice. She doesn't have the guts to leave him and worries she will be alone. I struggled so much through college, literally ate dog treats from my dog walking clients sometimes. You can choose to believe that's an internet hyperbole if you want. Found out my mom squandered about $150,000 that was supposed to go to my college. When I asked her about it, she basically freaked out and screamed and never owned up to it. It took me months to talk to her again, slowly, as I needed certain things from her. We're close now, but if I think about it, which is rarely, it makes my blood boil. I am so much more successful than her now, working a 6-figure job at 25 with $60K saved, and it does feel good, but does not erase the hurt. So I don't have advice, but it may feel nicer to know someone else has been there. Sucks when you have to be the parent. Oh, and she expects me to help care for her financially in old age now, so you may have that to look forward to. That's a big concern for me too. My dad could continue to make poor decisions financially, and my mom is sort of along for the ride.